Good evening. Welcome to the Owatonna Public Schools World's Best Workforce and Achievement Integration Annual Meeting. My name is Michelle Krell. I am the Director of Teaching and Learning here in the district. To my right, I have Ann Michelson, one of our Teaching and Learning Coordinators, and Dr. Martina Wagner, our Equity Coordinator tonight, to help us share our World's Best Workforce and Achievement and Integration. To start with, certainly throughout this presentation, if you have questions, please email them to my email address, please, mkrell@isd761.org. So our World's Best Workforce is something that all districts in the state of Minnesota started in 2013, and this is something that allows us to show our performance levels in five goal areas. The goal areas that each district is required to report on are: all students are ready for school, all third graders can read at grade level, all racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed, all students are ready for career and college, and all students graduate from high school. In addition to tonight's meeting, we will also be talking about our Achievement and Integration Grant and the plan that we've had in place. We have a 3-year grant, and this was we just completed our first full year, and our Achievement and Integration Grant focused on all racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed. So you'll hear more about that throughout the presentation. As we developed our goals, we really focused on our 4 commitment areas within the Owatonna Public Schools: high quality teaching and learning, ensuring we have a safe and caring community, equity, and 21st century learners. So as we developed our goals and our action steps, all of these 4 commitment areas are strong within our plan. I'm going to turn it over to Ann Michelson, who's going to talk about our first goal for this presentation.
All right, so the first, all children are ready for school. We're going to take a quick look back to fall of 2019, where 59% of our kindergarten students met the early reading composite benchmark assessment. Now, that's made up of 4 different subtests that have different weights as students come into kindergarten, seeing what they know about letters, sounds, how print works, things like that. We really want to see that increase as we came into this fall, so we set our goal to be 5 percentage points, so bumping that 59% up to 64%. So as you can see here, we did fall short of that goal on the composite overall, but we were excited to see that our 66% in concepts of print. So that's looking at how students are recognizing the difference between letters, words, sentences, left to right, different things like that. And that's an area that we were able to target in professional development with community-based educators and educators within our preschool programming to really focus on shared reading and things like that. So that was exciting to see. So as we look ahead into this next fall of 2020, we recognize we're at that 52% again, and so we are looking to increase our goal by 8 percentage points. So at this time next year, we're hoping to see that that's at a 60% point. We're going to continue what we've been doing and get creative with that as we move in and out of periods of distance learning here. And so we're going to continue that relevant and responsive literacy instruction that we have happening through shared resources, professional development opportunities, social emotional readiness focus, and aligning that so that students are getting what they need in that area, and then that family and community outreach as possible for us in our current setting. The second is all third graders can read at grade level. And so looking back again in that 2019, we saw that 47% of our third graders met or exceeded on the MCA 3. And so our goal coming into this last school year was the 60% being at that. We were not able to take the MCAs last spring, so unfortunately we don't have data to report on in this area, but 69% of our third graders met or exceeded the low-risk benchmark in their winter FastBridge testing last winter before we moved into our period of distance learning. And so it's possible that we could have seen improvement in that area. We can't be 100% sure, but that would indicate to us that what we had in place, we could have been on track to meet our goal. So we're going to stick with that same goal. We're going to continue from that 47th percentile or percent that we had at the beginning of 2019, and we're going to make that our 2021 goal as well, that we get 60% meeting or exceeding on their MCAs in third grade. We're going to continue with our balanced literacy approach, utilizing Fontes and Pinnell resources, responsive teaching, teaching and learning coach support, so helping teachers make those database decisions and supporting students as they grow in their reading, and then our multi-tiered systems of support. Are we targeting the needs that students have to make sure that they're growing and moving forward in their reading?
All right, and I have the opportunity, thanks Anne, to talk a little bit in tandem with the World's Best Workforce as well as our alignment to our Achievement Integration Plan. So our goal for World's Best Workforce here was to decrease the gap. So the difference between how students are performing on their MCA3 assessments for math and reading. And so that's 3 percentage points for our all students, but also our racial and ethnically diverse students by June 2022. The unfortunate piece here is that we, due to COVID, have no MCA3 data to report, although we do have some anecdotal evidence that indicates that we are on the right track, at least for academic achievement in our K-12, most specifically our high school, when we're looking at grades and opportunities to close the achievement gap of our students. The one thing to note with achievement integration is that the whole goal of this funding stream that has come in, like Michelle said, we had the last year to kind of implement, but then of course we're interrupted a bit by COVID, is that the goal of achievement and integration is to have racial and economic integration. So we do partner with Kenyon Wanamingo school districts, so we have the opportunity to integrate. To increase student achievement for our protected class students, which are self-identified ethnic groups that you will see represented up on the PowerPoint, that we are increasing equitable opportunities for all students within that protected class and then reducing disparities. So we want to have representation of students in a variety of courses that we see typically served or underrepresented. So our data here is again looking at the difference between reading and math proficiency, with our goal being the 3 percentage points by 2022. Again, the data was not available for us to share today. The exciting piece about the achievement integration is our action steps. So we have been heavily anchored in these 5 areas for achievement integration. The equity and culturally responsive practices, our CLEAR training now has had the second cohort of high school teachers trained, where we'll be wrapping up next summer with the last of our high school teachers being trained. And then we've also had the opportunity to start training our K-8 staff members to be a little bit more equitably responsive and representative in their practices. Our co-teaching is growing, which is also aligned to our career pathways that Michelle will talk about in just a moment. For our linguistically diverse students, we've had an opportunity to co-teach with an EL specialist and a content teacher in math, English language arts, and we also have the opportunity at the high school right now we have a dual license teacher who is providing sheltered content teaching, but all in social studies, but we'll be opening a co-taught early American and one other social studies course I don't remember off the top of my head, but social studies is branching out. Last but not least, we are investigating science for a pathway for students to be able to have the right language supports and to show academic achievement. Also with reducing the disparity of students enrolled in specialized courses, we have implemented our REACH, our AVID, our Rising Scholars, capstone courses, our AP courses to have more representation of protected class students. So Wendy Agerman has worked closely with me on some of those pieces and spearhead some of those movements. The other pieces, the last 2, I'll talk first about integration with Kenyon Wanamingo. In the 2019-20 school year in August, we had our first middle school STEM camp. The unfortunate piece is we were unable to implement this last summer due to COVID, but we hoped that eventually that integration will come back. Kenyon Wanamingo has also worked with us on our CLEAR and co-teaching trainings as well. And then last but not least, our success coaches, formerly known as liaisons, have grown exponentially in their advocacy. They work tirelessly on aligning both academic as well as parent voices within our school and the inverse from school
Particular area. And it's really aligned around courses that we have at our high school, the course offerings, and the opportunities for our students. And so the first one represents us looking at the students who have earned college credit in our articulated concurrent enrollment courses and our PSEO courses. And we want to be able to increase that by 3% from 2020 to 2021. So that's our first goal. Other goal is really centered around CTE classes. So increasing the percentage of students in our school district who participate in advanced career and technical education courses, including internships, mentorships, by 3% from last year to this particular school year. So when we think about our action steps for this particular area, we have continued to enhance our college and our career readiness planning. We this year have implemented and started using Naviance as our career planning tool for students. Our students start in 8th grade, and they have a college and career course, and that's when they start to think about what are the things that they're most interested in, they take inventories. We really try to think about how we're going to create a plan for students as we look towards their future, because we believe that if they start to identify where their strengths are, where their interests are, we can create a much clearer plan as they go through our high school. And then when they reach 9th grade, we really work hard. Mr. Kath at the high school has worked really hard to really create some avenues in all of the 9th grade courses, core content courses, where students can really identify exactly what are some of the things that they're interested in, because that really takes us into action step 2, which is our career pathways in course development. And so one of our goals is to really look at our career pathways initiative that I know we've presented before, but really looked at also what's the course development that goes along with that. We have some additional courses that we're going to be offering this year that are new to us. We have Auto Mechanics 1 and 2. We have a Fab Lab course that's new to us. We are also doing a Certified Nursing Assistant course, and we're currently in the plans when we open up our new high school to have a licensed practical nurse program started within our high school. So we're really trying to enhance and really think about what are those career opportunities students need, so that they're ready when they graduate from us, and they have all of the tools that they need to be successful, whether it's college life or career. And then our last goal is really to integrate those 21st century skills and enhance technology and innovation. And COVID has certainly helped us do that. So I think about just how far we've come as a district from our students not having devices to now this year having every student has a school issued device. The work that we're doing technology-wise in our hybrid and now our distance learning model, from all the way from our kindergartners to our seniors, have had a tremendous amount of technology, but not only technology within computers, but the technology that goes in with some of our more advanced courses, whether it's, utilizing some of the CTE machines that we have or that we're hoping to get in our future, but really trying to enhance that and continue to make sure that our students are ready with technology and innovation with the world we live in now. And then our last goal for the world's best workforce is that all students graduate from high school, and that's our ultimate goal. You can see that our goal from last year was that our 4-year graduation rate would increase from 83% to 88%, with no individual racial and ethnic groups below 80%. And last year was the first year we added this 80%, no groups falling below 80%, because we think that's really, really important for us to continue. Here's the information. Now I want to caution everyone and let you know that the graduation rate is 1 year behind. We don't have an accurate graduation rate until the Minnesota Department of Education comes out with that graduation rate. So you can see that this is really our 2019, not our 2020 graduation rate, but this is just the way the goal has to be written. So you can see that we are at 84% of our students, so we didn't quite meet our target of 88. But you can see that when we look at our racial and ethnic groups, our Black African American students, we were able to increase that to 80% and met the goal there. We recognize that our Hispanic and Latinx students, we need to continue to work on ensuring that they graduate from high school and continue to improve there. And then our white students were at 88% and met that particular goal. And so we will have 2020 graduation rates. Usually February is when those come out, and then we'll be able to report on them next year. So then we look ahead. We're keeping the same goal. We want to increase the rate from 84% to 88% for all of our students, with no groups falling below 80%. So you can see our target is there. And then our action steps towards that is we really want to increase academic support and then, of course, our credit recovery system, especially at our high school. COVID has been tricky for us. It's been challenging for our students. We recognize that these are really troublesome times to do this, but we need this goal more than ever to ensure that our students can get to that point. And so when we look at that, we're looking at avenues for students to get the support that they need, whether it's when we were in the hybrid model, whether the students coming in on Wednesdays to get that additional support, or other ways for us to do that. And then also looking at credit recovery. Instead of allowing students to fail a course, we're looking at how we can put in some supports prior to that. And maybe if they're close to passing the course, maybe there are just certain assignments that need to be completed instead of retaking the entire course. So we're really trying to look at what credit recovery can look like for our students. The other thing is our professional learning communities. A strong focus across our whole entire district on professional learning communities, ensuring that staff are really taking a critical look at their instructional practices, their assessment that they're utilizing, and then being able to scoop kids up that are actually falling behind. So our PLCs are very, very strong in our district, and they continue to get stronger as we have a clear focus for what we want to do. And then the last thing I have, the last action step is programs and pathways to graduation. So really identifying programs that help support our students, but also finding pathways to graduation. I would say that 3 years ago, there were not pathways, especially for English language learners, to graduate. So Martina and her team have really worked hard to really figure out ways that we can ensure students have entry points into all the courses that they need. There are opportunities, as Martina mentioned, of co-teaching for our students. So we have co-teaching opportunities. So we'll have an EL teacher and a classroom teacher who are teaching a course together, and they're creating these entry points for students to understand, because language is obviously most of the time, the barrier. And how can we provide those supports and those scaffolds to get students so that they're passing the courses along the way? So really identifying what are some courses that maybe are EL courses for classes, as well as identifying co-taught courses, so we can start to get our students there. And also, when we talk about programming, we have programming starting all the way in our elementary school for students to enhance their academic performance. And so I think about our Rising Scholars program in our elementary. Our goal is that those students will take more advanced courses when they get to the high school, because we've given them these opportunities to excel and have really truly a belief in themselves that they can truly achieve. So lots of different programming, in addition to, like, when we think about the career pathways, all of that programming really identifies where we can start to have students identify their strengths and their interests. And we know students do better when they're in courses that they truly are excited about. So those are some things that we've been working on to ensure that there's programs and pathways to graduation for our students. And that concludes our World's Best Workforce and our achievement and integration information for you. We're very proud of where we've come, and really recognize that we've made a lot of curricular adjustments, programming adjustments, instructional adjustments, and we're hopeful. The unfortunate part is that COVID has put kind of a wrench into some of the great work, but our teachers are doing a phenomenal job of ensuring that they're doing everything they can under the circumstances that we're in to ensure that our students are learning and growing and, that we can meet the goals that we have set forward for this school year. So with that, thank you very much for tuning in. And certainly if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is mkrell, Krell, @isd761.org. Thanks again.